Do you need to find love and validation outside of yourself to be able to function properly? Are your abandonment issues so severe that you feel as if one of your limbs is being amputated when someone leaves you? Like most psychiatric concepts, codependency is very complex in its causes, symptoms, and effects. In almost all cases, codependency begins in childhood. Of course, all children are completely dependent on their caretakers in the first few years of their life, but as an adult, they shouldn't be dependent to the extent that it becomes harmful to both themselves and their family. When you're codependent, you tend to have low self-esteem and turn to anything outside of yourself for comfort, such as alcohol, drugs, relationships, or compulsive behaviors. This can take a toll on your life and leave you in a state of constant fear of abandonment, a compelling need to please and control others, poor communication, lack of boundaries, and obsession with your partner. However, recovery and healing is possible. Anyone who struggles with issues related to abandonment, trust, assertiveness, people-pleasing, and dependency will greatly benefit from listening to this audiobook. Codependent Cure: The No More Codependence Recovery Guide for Obtaining Detachment from Codependency will provide you with steps to identify codependent characteristics and strategies to get rid of them for good. In this audiobook, you'll discover the severity of codependency and its impact on individuals, the real culprit who is to blame for your codependency, which dysfunctional character describes you, why codependents are dangerous to certain individuals, the horrifying stages of a codependent relationship, the telltale signs that you're in a codependent relationship, a simple technique for setting boundaries to open up the lines of communication, when it's time to pack and leave a toxic relationship, how to make the road to recovery less bumpy, proven techniques for maintaining your recovery, and much, much more. Many people struggle for years to let go of their codependency, but our audiobook provides proven techniques that make this process much simpler than anything else out there on the market. Let's dive into a sample of Codependent Cure to give you a first-hand experience of the insights and strategies that can free you from the clutches of codependency so that you can explore the happiness and fulfillment waiting for you. Remember that you can listen to the full audiobook for free by enrolling in Audible through the link in the description. Stages of codependent relationships. Unlike other mental health problems, codependency requires something outside of the affected individual to exist. You can become prone to codependency and have nothing that you are unhealthily attached to at the moment, but you cannot be actively codependent without being currently attached to a person, substance, or object to an unhealthy degree. Codependence on something else gets worse over time. In this chapter, we'll cover the different stages of codependency, how they develop, and the consequences of each of them. The romantic stage. Codependent people have the tendency to jump headfirst from one relationship to another. Before or as soon as a person prone to codependency enters a relationship, their partner or potential partner already plays a huge role in their lives. This is called the romantic stage of codependency, and it's the most enjoyable stage. But it's hard to tell whether it's just a powerful dose of love between the two of you or whether it's the beginning stages of codependency. Most, or at least some of us, have experienced what's known as love at first sight. That process where you're in love or at least very infatuated with another person. One day we're going about our lives, minding our own business, when suddenly we meet someone and bam, we're in love. There's something there that draws us to them, makes us think about them, from the time we wake up until the time we go to bed. We seldom know what it is, but we feel it there, and that's enough. Suddenly, our whole world revolves around this person. They are our joy and our sorrow. There's no clear line between this kind of intense love and codependency. The only real way to differentiate between the two is to analyze your own feelings. Are you attached to this person because you love everything about them? Or is it because you're no longer alone? Do you rely a great amount on their love and attention for your own self-worth? I should also clarify here that codependency is not exclusive to romantic relationships. Codependence can sneak its way into the relationships we have with friends, mentors, or anyone else you may have around you for support. While it is true that the majority of codependent relationships are between significant others, if someone is prone to codependency, then every relationship in their life is susceptible to it. Love, infatuation, and the romantic stage of codependency are three emotional states and dynamics found in new relationships, and it's hard to tell one apart from the other. Nevertheless, here are some of the things you'll find in the early stage of a codependent relationship. One aspect of early codependency that can be identified rather easily is the type of person you're with. As we've discussed in the last chapter, people who are prone to codependency automatically search for partners that could be called projects. These people usually have their share of problems and aren't functioning well on their own. They have a lot of needs, and there's plenty of room for their codependent partner, who has a ton of energy when it comes to taking care of others and proving their own worth, to improve their life and make things easier for them. So, if someone who is functioning rather highly and doing well begins dating someone who has problems and is struggling, it's time to look for more signs of codependency. Another good way to identify the early stages of codependency in a relationship is looking to see whether or not they're neglecting other parts of their lives and shifting the balance of things. This most commonly comes in the form of neglecting other relationships because there's little to nothing else that the codependent person would rather do than be around their partner. If someone goes from spending a good amount of time with their friends to never seeing them at all, a proneness to codependency might be the culprit. The realist stage. This stage is where the real problems that come with dependency start to show themselves. The romantic stage, where both the codependent person and their partner had fallen in love, and everything felt equal, and the codependent person felt adequate, accepted, and loved, usually ends faster than anyone likes it to, and often it happens quickly and all at once. In the course of a day, the codependent person goes from being fulfilled, happy, and satisfied to being worried, distressed, and noticeably, unhealthily dependent. This stage begins when the codependent person stops feeling secure and fully loved. This can happen because of a few reasons. One of the most common is their partner showing some level of independence. This is never done on purpose, but either way, the codependent person interprets it as, "I don't need you," and this terrifies them. It also happens when the codependent person's partner doesn't live up to giving the same amount of affection or love they gave in the very first stage. Here, the codependent person feels like they're losing their partner, and that terrifies them. As a result, they move towards more radical codependent behavior. They start looking for more and more things they can do for their partner. This is to prove their worth. It serves as a way for them to show their partner how much they love them and how valuable they are. As they do this, they're hoping their actions will result in two things. One, their partner staying with them, and two, their partner showing the same amount of love and effort back to them. It isn't a conscious decision, but by doing these things, the codependent person is trying to gain control. As they do more and more things for their partner will become more and more dependent on them, relying on them to cook, to sort out the finances, to keep the home running, and much else. This way, if their partner does want to end the relationship, they'll have to go without all these perks they get out of the relationship. While a codependent person will almost certainly do some form of the above in the second stage, it won't help the one thing that really drove them to it, the emotional pain they are in. While it may evoke some extra affection from their partner at first, they'll soon become desensitized to it and just view it as normal. After a while, they might not show any appreciation at all. This results in a stressful period for the codependent person. They start to feel guilty at the idea that they're not enough for their partner, that they're not making their partner happy. As they do more and more things to try to establish their importance and to get more love and affection while getting nothing in return, they feel as if they are powerless in doing everything to change the course of the relationship and relieve them of their distress. But instead of seeking outside support, they usually double down on their effort. The end of this stage is where a codependent person will become overbearing and even controlling, further straining their relationship with their partner. They will further neglect their other relationships and responsibilities as the codependence takes up more and more of their time. It's a nasty slope because they get more and more isolated and unhappy as it goes on, and the only thing they can think of is to try and do something else for their partner. Towards the end of the realist stage, they begin taking the blame for things they didn't do in the hopes it will win over some extra love or affection from their partner. They become willing to put up with more and more toxic behaviors, which can be as serious as substance abuse or violence. The painful stage. The painful stage is one of two things. Either the stage that the relationship must endure before the recovery can begin, or the place both of the people in the relationship will be stuck in until their relationship crashes and burns. Examining this stage can show us just how dangerous and damaging unchecked codependency can be. Here, the relationship has become downright toxic. Both the codependent person and their partner have become so stuck in their ways and habits that recovery while saving the relationship is hopeless. The consequences of codependency have gone to the point where the detriment on both people's lives is clearly visible. The painful stage of a codependent relationship is just that, painful, not a pretty sight. Whatever problems or responsibilities the codependent person was shielding their partner from are severe. The painful stage in relationships between a codependent person and a partner with substance abuse finds the partner completely and helplessly addicted. They need it every day. They use it every day. They need it to function. They are often unemployed at this point and are seldom capable of taking on any meaningful responsibilities. Every aspect of the couple's life has been affected. Often, only the codependent person is employed, and it's not uncommon to see relationships where the couple has lost their original home or place of residence due to financial restraints. They've often been forced to move somewhere much cheaper, back in with their parents or other relatives, or possibly even homeless. The scope of the day-to-day lives has narrowed dramatically. They've neglected almost every other relationship they have and usually do not spend any significant amount of time with anyone but each other. Both people are under a tremendous amount of stress, and sometimes this has caused at least one of them to develop some major health problem. The self-worth of both people in the relationship has been severely damaged. The codependent person feels as if they've failed to take care of their partner. They are often quite unsatisfied with the relationship and powerfully crave affection and love. The codependent person's partner, on the other hand, has usually not made any meaningful progress towards solving their problems. They either feel useless and pathetic or have simply stayed in the relationship for the support their partner gives them rather than any emotional desire to be there. The codependent person now has massive amounts of anxiety and depression. They don't see a way out, yet, unless there's some form of outside intervention or an epiphany about their own codependency, they don't stop the behaviors that got them there in the first place. As a result, all the caretaking they were doing changes from a way to make their partner value and love them to more of a set of obsessive rituals that they convince themselves they have to do in order to keep the relationship together. This can mean doing the same things multiple times a day, cleaning things that don't need to be cleaned, taking care of things that don't need to be taken care of, going on radical diets, exercising to an unhealthy degree, and anything else they might do obsessively. The painful stage of codependency also puts the codependent person at risk for developing their own substance abuse issues. Their mental state can also get to the point where they cannot hold down a job or function away from their partner. We have also seen people in the last stages of a codependent relationship develop severe eating disorders. Usually, they starve themselves or purge as an attempt to take back some form of control in their lives. The painful stage of codependency can last years, possibly until the end of the couple's lives. In this stage, it's very unlikely that they'll break up without some change of heart or outside intervention. Both people have become so dependent on the other that life apart is inconceivable. It would be like starting over and going into a different world, especially if they've been together for years. I hope you found this sample of Codependent Cure insightful and thought-provoking. Remember, what you've just heard is just a glimpse of the valuable content within the full audiobook. If you're eager to explore this transformative journey further and experience the complete Codependent Cure, you can do so for free by enrolling in a 30-day trial on Audible using the link in the description. This trial not only grants you access to the entire audiobook, but also opens the door to countless other titles across various genres. Don't miss out on the opportunity to break free from codependency and embark on your path to a healthier, more fulfilling life. Click the link in the description below to immerse yourself in the complete Codependent Cure audiobook today. Your journey to healing and personal growth begins now. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button below to get access to more valuable content like this, including additional audio samples and insights for self-development. Thank you for being an integral part of our community as we embark on this transformational journey together.